we're back in the Denbigh Castle. Just talking through it all, really. I've got Les, Keith, and Matt with me. Just got to go straight to the end, Les. I mean, is that, after Jags, the best goal ever scored by an Everton centre-back you've seen?
It's got to be up there, hasn't it?
Is it better than Jags' goal at Anfield?
No, not quite. The whole thing about this one, I mean, Jagielkas was just pure instinctive. This one was just, Michael Keane was like, right, who wants it? Anyone want it? No? All right, I'll just hit it then. And just lashed it, just towed it. It was a hell of a finish. I mean, you can look at like Lloris and think maybe he could have done better, but the ball literally hits the side netting. It's so far over towards that post. I don't think he'd have got anywhere near it. And it just kind of backs up my theory that, this is better than me Tom Davis one at right back. Michael Keane's the auxiliary striker we all want. He could be the new Paul Warhurst. I know I'm not like sort of doing much for the younger demographic there, but just look at Paul Warhurst and what he did. Michael Keane's that man, I'm telling you. Look at it.
The ball's not even spinning. You will never see anyone strike a football as pure as Michael Keane has just hit that. What a hit, son. What a hit.
I mean, he has got that in him, hasn't he? A little bit.
He does. I mean, the one in the first half where he chested it down and volleyed it. I tell you what, if that had gone top bins, I reckon the roof would have fell off. You got to take that, haven't you? From the position we were in after going one down and down to 10 men, you've got to take a point as a positive. It rolls on now. We're 4 unbeaten now, which is huge, because even just picking up single points here and there could be the difference at the end of the season.
How many times is Michael Keane going to keep bailing us out? Between the Palace goal and that, like, he's got to be getting up for like Farrelly levels.
He bailed us out against Palace, but he helped bail us out against. That was a full Michael Keane bailing us out tonight. Palace was a bit more.
He scored the best goal of the 3 at Palace, or against Palace, clearly. But like, he's got to be getting up to Farrelly levels now. Like, he should be fated for the rest of his natural life from Everton fans. And it's just like, you can debate the merit of him as a centre half. I personally feel he's perfectly fine. He's probably one of our 2 best ones, so he should be starting. But just those moments he just keeps coming up with, and not even scruffy, tap-ins at the back post on a corner. 2 absolute worldly goals, which, like, that could be the point that bails us out this season.
It's like a mad combination, Les, of like the most awkward looking fella on a football I've ever seen. And then every now and then, like you said, like, he'll do something like bring it down on his right foot and finish it on his left against Palace, or like bring it on his chest and like do a mad volley. Like, he just, every now and then, he just like seems to turn into like, it's like almost like Peter Crouch-esque in the way in which he moves with the ball sometimes, isn't he?
He's very ungainly, I think, yeah. But it's like, I've said it before, and Peter Crouch, Christ. Michael Keane does Michael Keane things very well. But I think one thing we need to accept now is one of those things that he does well is hit some occasional worldies. I just think, again, he's a basic footballer, and I said before, joking, like, he just thought, oh, fuck it, I'm going to hit it. But it's just a very basic thing to do. There's nothing on, so just have a shot. And you kind of think if more players thought like that, you'd see more goals like that. Because I don't think there's another player on the pitch apart from maybe Damari Gray who would have hit that from there. They'd have held on to it, looked for something, drawn a defender, probably lost possession. It's just, it's not the end of the world when a footballer is not particularly intelligent, because you get things like that where you just think, I've got no option here but to just lash it. And he did. And I think just to move on to the actual game, I don't think Spurs were in that at all, that game. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot twice. Did the Corey thing, I was fuming at the time, but it looks like he did hit him in the face. Kane made the most of it, as is his, that's his job to do that. It's horrible to see, but, we did the thing for his team. Then we gave away a penalty. We did all the worst things you could possibly do against Tottenham. Go down to 10 men and give them a penalty. But they were never in it. They just looked like 2 pretty average sides going at each other. Neither of them with much, I wouldn't say intent to win, but like ability to win. Yeah. I just thought Spurs were very, very poor. It seems like they've won about 3 games all season, and the 5th. I just don't understand it. But, it's, as Keith said, it's a vital point, and the great point there is that, well, it keeps the momentum going. Yeah. That's 4 unbeaten now, and it's like, when you're in the position we're in, you don't get many runs like that where you can go 4 unbeaten. So, going into Man United again at the weekend, we've got to go into that positive now, because they're they're not pulling up any trees this season, so it just keeps that momentum going.
And I know, like, sort of lingering here and keep on the end of the game, but like, it didn't feel like anyone really gave up there, like, tonight. Like, you know, we go down to 10 men, they score, you know, and then Spurs kind of sat off us a little bit, and like, it seemed like they're trying to play on the counter attack, but felt like the players still believe, the manager still believed, the fans stayed with them, and I suppose that's what happens when you go to Chelsea and you score a last minute goal, and you know, it's, you know, the evidence and the fight is sort of like, you know, there are things that you can look at and go, this team isn't going to just lie down and, you know, and take defeat and roll over. There is a bit more about them now.
There was a huge level of fight. That last half hour down to 10 men, and then the last 20 minutes after they got the goal, the work rate across the board was sensational. The pressing, it's a very Sunday League shout, but we boxed them in.
Yeah.
We kept them in their own half and made them try and... Well, they were trying to play out from the back, and they did it quite well first half. They passed out from the back quite well first half, and they were quite smooth with it. But we seemed to up the intensity on the pressing, especially down to 10 men, and you got to work twice as hard. And Iwobi is probably, like, I don't know how far he's run tonight, but it's got to be... He's got to have run a good 20 kilometres there. He never stopped running. He didn't have his best game with the ball at his feet, but he was positive. There was an attacking intent about him, and he set the tone work rate wise when Doucouré went off. Similar shout to Dwight McNeil, who, like, after he came through a bit of a sticky patch where it looked like he was knackered after about 15 minutes in games, and you wondered, like, was he having a full English in the changing room before the game or something?
I think Mikolenko had it today. But let's not talk about that.
We'll touch briefly on that disaster class shortly. But McNeil, for me, since Dyche has come in, looks a different player. He looks a confident footballer, and you can see him. He's not the quickest, but he's trying to get the outside his fullback and get a cross in. Put a couple of great crosses in today.
Great tackle at the back post in the first half as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, wonderful. The problem with him putting these crosses in is we still don't have a striker up there, and Demarai Gray, like, he ran a lot and he pressed a lot, but that was pretty much a 2 out of 10 performance with the ball today. Didn't look like he could trap sand. Like, the ball just kept bouncing away from him, and I know Sims is a young lad and he's raw and he's got a lot to learn about the game, certainly at the highest level, but you have to play a striker there. You have to have, and if you're going to play in the way Everton set up, where you're either going to go long down the middle or you're going to try and work it wide and get the crosses in, you have to have a physical striker there who can challenge and win headers. Neil Maupay's not it, Demarai Gray's not it. Give Sims a run from the start against United, because when he came on tonight, Sims, he looked really positive, and he put their back line under a lot of pressure.
Matt, you know, I agree with a lot of what Keith said there, and for me, like, the second half was just so similar to the Villa game for me, in the sense that they were playing out from the back. We were winning it quite a lot, but we made bad, you know, the Idrissa Gueye one at the start of the second half, where he's got Doucouré to one side and Gray to the other side, and he has a shot over the bar, you know, frustrating, and it just felt a little bit like this is going to be the same again, where we're doing a lot of things really well, but we haven't just got those tools in the final third to sort of take the next step in that sense.
From our perspective, yeah, it did feel like that, but I didn't feel we were under nearly the same amount of threat as the Villa game, because, like, I don't understand why Spurs kept persisting with that playing out from the back. Even at 1-1 they kept doing it, and we're hunting them down, they're chasing them down in packs. Larissa's panicking every single time. If we could finish a dinner like, we would have, you know, been 3 or 4 up. I mean, they only had one shot on target in each side of the half time. One of them was a penalty. They were absolutely fucking crap.
Yeah.
They really, I mean, how are they fifth? It's just bizarre.
It completely baffles me. You expect, you know, they come with quite a big reputation, and, you know, the big 6 tag, and the fact that they're always there or thereabouts for the European spots. they just look as bad as anything I've seen this season. There was nothing there.
You said they seem to lose every week.
Yeah, it's like yeah, they do. It's weird, and I don't get like what the thing is with them. You know, it's good for us in the fact that we've got a point out of that game, but it's frustrating that we went down to 10 men when we did, and we could maybe have got 3 if we hadn't have done, because they showed nothing before. You know, as you said, Matt, well, 2 shots on target and 1 was a pen. They showed no intent to win that game at all. You know, you come into a team, you're challenging for the Champions League spot. There's basically 4 teams going for. There's basically 5 teams going for 4 places, and you're one of them. And you turn up to a relegation threat, an 18th place team, and play like that. It's not great, but you know, you need to talk about Everton really, and the fact that, as you said, Matt, you know, we've dug in and we've hung in there. You know, in former times under previous managers, we may well have, the arse might have fallen out of us there, and then we invite pressure onto us, but we didn't at all, and that's been the big difference since Dice has come in. It's like it's got back to that very sort of Everton thing at Goodison, at least, whereby you can bank on the team to go for the full 90 and not give in, and you get results like that.
Yeah, and it's one of them as well. When it went to 10 versus 11, I think it would have been dead easy to go like, well, we've got to just fly forward and try and get an equaliser here. But if you do that, you expose yourself to Son and Kane and that link up, don't you? Instead, we just sort of kept it, didn't we? And thought, right, we just need to manage it and get to the end, and then you pick your moments, be it 80, 85, maybe a bit earlier, to think, right, we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at this now. And obviously they helped us a little bit by getting a lad sent off as well. But it felt like even in that point, like the game was like went into a bit of a stalemate after they scored. But then from that point on, we were quite happy to let it get there. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it was like, so he got sent off on 88, didn't he? So there wasn't much time left, and I kind of when he got
we were pushing before that, weren't we? We went like creating loads of chances.
Yeah, we did. We didn't like, you know, we didn't stop, and I think we still looked like the team with the more intent. And you wouldn't have necessarily, if you'd come into that game at that point, you wouldn't necessarily have thought we were the team down to 10 men there, because we kept our shape, as you say. It's easy to lose your head at that moment, and I was thinking, just as soon as Decore got sent off, I thought, oh, maybe we should go to a back 5 and just, you know, really kind of shut up shop. But you know, this is where a decent manager like earns the money, and he kept the shape as it was. He just kept the team going as it was, because you could obviously see that, you know, the game was still there. They were still there to be got at, and it paid off in the end.
And credit has to go to the manager as well for the changes. Like, earlier than I think I've seen that many changes from him, it would have been very easy for him to just say, down to 10 men, 1-0 down, you know, just try and mitigate the problem, dust ourselves off, go again. But he gave the midfield a full refresh, loads of fresh legs.
But James Garner was good when he came on.
Yeah, Garner was good. I think Tom Davis deserves player of the season for taking out 2 Spurs players with 1 sliding challenge.
Lovely that one,
It was marvellous. Mikalenko.
Let's just not talk about it.
No, do you know what?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Do you know what? I haven't seen the full game replay but I will swear down that he was fouled at the end there. When he ran through, he was clipped at the end there.
Soft. It would have been soft, I think.
They would have got it. They would have. But yeah, I mean, his first non-touch was it was magnificent, wasn't it? I think Chris Smith said on our chat, you know, all credit to him for having a bottle of 69% Ray and Nephew rum before he come on. Because the first thing he did was fall on his arse. That one in the box when him and, was it McNeil, both swung for the same ball in the air and just missed. We can laugh about it now because we've got a point at least, but Jesus Christ, those are the moments that could cost you. But yeah, like we were moaning about Dyche early in his Everton stint about, you know, sitting on his hands, and that was more a comment on the quality on the bench than anything else. But you've got to give him more credit tonight for not giving up and giving a full set of fresh legs and dragging us over the line to a point.
Yeah, you very quickly know, Keith, then you what Everton are all about now. And as much as like people might, you know, turn their nose up at the style and stuff like that, we're definitely creating more chances now than we were under the previous manager, and defensively we look miles better as well.
I mean, we're getting shots off, which is a huge improvement than Lampard. I think we had something like 15 shots on goal today, which is, it sounds absolutely mental. Only 6 of them were on target, so maybe they need to practice a little bit more in training. That Ghana Gay one at the start of the second half, Jesus, I think that ball's still travelling. It's ended up in Fazakerley. Yeah, it's positive. I mean, it's far from perfect. They're far from a well-oiled machine. You've just got to. We've got to focus on the positives. We've got to stay behind the team at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot of turmoil off the pitch, but between now and the end of the season, we've got 9 games left. So we've got to do. I don't think my heart's going to take it, to be honest. Like that 6 minutes of injury time, I genuinely thought I was having a stroke. I was in a bad way.
What minute was Keane's goal on?
89. It was literally, they announced the injury time as everyone was still going off. So, yeah, I think it was 89 when it went in.
90 by flash score.
There we go. Warren's got it up here. It is 90 bang on. Yeah, there we go.
I'm saying 89. Because that
well, it would have been 89 on the clock, wouldn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
So, yeah, flash score and Sky Sports can leg it.
So
I'm saying 89 and I'm sticking to it.
He got his ankle snapped on 88 and then scored that on the 89th. What a fella.
I'll tell you what, striking that with it on one leg is pretty impressive. He's an absolute dog, that Lucas Moura, isn't he? He's horrible.
When we like offered him or something
So,
at some point,
it's
glad we never took that up.
It's quite funny that he came on ahead of Danjuma and got sent off. Obviously, having Danjuma jibbed us off and not played a minute, has he really there for them? But
It's mad, isn't it? You think as a manager, if you're going to play a player who you don't fancy, you play him against the team he's jibbed off. I would have thought he'd have gone on at some point tonight, just because, well, you might as well.
Yeah. I think he's probably realised that bringing Danjuma on would have been to Everton's advantage there, because as an away manager, the last thing you want to do is make Goodison horrible. Because that's when Everton are at the best, when we're a snarling pack of dogs in the crowd. And I mean, it was like that.
The referee did it a bit tonight.
The referee did it very. Like, let's just take a moment to focus on David Coote, the school prefect, and his complete ineptitude to referee a football game. He was given. There was one in the first half where he didn't give a foul on Iwobi, and then literally 5 minutes later gave the exact same foul on Son. And
there's one where Iwobi was running through and he should have played advantage, and he stopped it.
Oh yeah, he was behind the defence and he stopped it. He's just an absolute goblin, him. I think we've had him a couple of times this season, and genuinely, it's a wider discussion and it's not for this podcast, but the standard of refereeing in the Premier League has been bad for a while, but this season it seems to be almost spiteful levels. It's I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but it seems like a lot of decisions go against Everton that other teams get, and you just sort of go, well, why aren't we getting these? Why? It's simple decisions as well. The one on Iwobi was clear. The fella behind him was like a big sweaty octopus. He had like 8 tentacles wrapped around his neck, and he just waved play on. You've got to query what's going on.
Off that as well.
Yeah. But I mean, just to finish off, obviously Decore got sent off. Harry Kane embarrassed himself a bit. Has anyone got his strong? I mean,
it's a shame that Decore got sent off for me, because up until that point he was our best player. He was everywhere tonight. He was brilliant. He was winning all his tackles.
He's got a head like a 50p, though, hasn't he? That header down the park end, he should have got that on target at least.
But I look at that and think, Kane's just done him there, hasn't he? Kane has embarrassed himself completely, but Decore has fallen for it completely as well.
It's a red card. Let's not beat about the bush. It is a red card. It's stupid. As soon as you put your hands in someone's face, you're either going to get sent off at the time or you're going to get sent off on VAR.
Unless it's an Everton player's face.
Well, yeah. But there we go.
That's just one thing on it as well. It did look like Kane was dragging his shirt. So I've seen the replay, so it looks like he's just like lashed his arm out. I don't know.
Yeah.
And just to say sort of get off, and he's caught him. I don't know.
Him.
I know.
But because Decore is like 6'12", like as he's pushed him, he's at his chin.
And there are I know still images don't give the full sort of story of what's happened, but there is a picture of him where he's got his hand like clawing his face, like the face hugger in Alien, and it's indefensible, it's stupid, it's brain dead, but it is heat of the moment, and it's the sort of thing that's going to come up in the rest of the season because we are in a desperate struggle, and the players are probably under a lot of pressure to get results.
It feels like this has been cut. Like, we've had a few fines, haven't we? For like,
We have, yeah.
like it feels like this has sort of been on the cards for a little bit now.
I do enjoy it. It is a case of make Everton horrible again. Under Lampard, we never really had it. There wasn't really much fight to the team. They were pretty spineless in a lot of situations. Since Dyche has come in, I think there was one at Forest, wasn't there? There was a big kick-off at Forest. One of the home games, was it the Arsenal home game? There was a big kick-off again there.
Yeah. Mopé caused it, didn't they?
And there's a battle about them, there's a fight about them, and nights like tonight it'll go against us, although we got out with a point because of the red card. But I'd rather see them like that. I'd rather see them sticking up for each other, scrapping for every decision, every possible point for the rest of the season. But make Everton horrible again.
It's like the classic Anchorman rules, isn't it? Just don't touch the hair or face, and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you know, if Decore had done that and shoved Kane in the chest, he would have been absolutely sound. But
It's the puppies of localised conflict. They're off again.
Just looking here, and Kane is getting ripped apart by, among others, Carragher and Henry Winter.
good stuff.
Blimey.
Big Hank, what a fella! What a fella! His Henry Winter's redemption arc this year has been sensational, hasn't it? He's actually quite likeable now.
Oh God. I think we'll leave it there. Anyway, great point for the Blues. On to Old Trafford on Saturday against the United team that have been pretty poor recently as well. Who knows what's going to happen there? But we are out the bottom three. We have seen one of the all-time great goals scored by an Everton defender tonight. So raise a glass to Michael Keane. Up the Toffees. Speak to you soon.